Hello and welcome back to Just Callum. Today I'm going to show you how to make two types of survival camping stove. For this we're going to need, for the first type we're going to need a stick, preferably quite thin and dry. For the second type we're going to need a strip of cardboard, about so long, and a big pot of melted wax. Now we'll come on to the wax later on, but for a start we're going to focus on the stick. So with the stick, you want to make sure it's dry enough that it snaps quite cleanly like that. And all we're going to do is just put it in our pencil sharpener, as we've seen on previous videos, and just start to sharpen it, or just get all those shavings. And as you can probably tell, this is going to take me a while. So what instead I'm going to do is pick up my survival Makita drill, open the chuck up nice and wide, pop my stick in like that, get it in my sharpener, and just sharpen, and then just sharpen my stick like so. Cool. So I'm going to do that until I get lots of these little shavings here. Okay, so now we've shaved off plenty of these little filings, what we're going to do, pack them into here, like so.
Just to clarify, this is an empty and cleaned out old tunica.
All these little filings onto them like that. Little space in the middle for this. Just a bit of cut off cardboard. Just going to stick in the middle like that, so it's facing upwards. We'll come back to this a little bit later. For the time being, we're going to focus on this one. Now, this is where my strip of cardboard comes in. I'm going to very tightly roll up my cardboard, like so, all the way until I get a rolled up bit of bundled up cardboard as wide as my can. Then what you do, when you come to the end and you've packed your can full of cardboard, like such, you're just going to get another piece of cardboard about the length, give or take, of your thumb, fold it lengthways in half, like so, and much like we did with the other can, just pop it into the middle, just so it sticks up. Now, these two bits of cardboard on the top, you light when you get your stove going. Cool. Right, so now let's get on to the next thing, the wax. Get yourself some wax, pop it in a little pot like such, and you're just going to double boil it. So what you're going to do is you're going to boil some water and pop that in like such. That will eventually heat up that wax, and as I can see it's already happening, it will melt the wax in the pot. You don't want to boil the wax directly on the pot, because you'll not only ruin the pot, but you'll also set the fire alarm off, as we found out the hard way. Melt it down till it's all liquid, and then you want to get these two on hand to pour. Okay, so once you've finally melted all of your wax like such, you're going to take that pot out of there and you're going to pour it into your cardboard, making sure to douse that little candle wick you've made as well, and to cover everything as much as you can like that. Awesome. Right, I'll let that harden like there. Next thing to do is to reboil some more wax. Okay, so onto the second one then. I've melted the second load of wax and I'm gonna take that out of the water like that. I'm just gonna pour that nice and gently over all of that shavings and that little cardboard top as well. Make sure I don't overfill it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to give those 24 hours to dry. See you in 24 hours. Okay, so it hasn't been 24 hours, it's been about 24 minutes. But the wax has completely dried and solidified. I did put it in the fridge to do so. And we're now going to give it a little test just to see how well it works. So let's give it a go. Okay, so here's the first one. This is the cardboard little stove there. I've got my lighter. I'm just going to give that a light. What you can do is balance a couple of blocks of wood and then a couple of stones, just so it doesn't start to burn the wood next to the fire like that. Pop that on top. And there you have the first type of camping stove made with only a little tuna can and some cardboard and wax. So there's the first type. And what you'll notice as well is with lots of wind, even rain, that won't go out. You'll have a fire for the whole evening. So you can either keep warm or cook yourself some food. Right, let's move on to the next type, the wood shavings. Okay, so let's try the same thing again, but with the wood shavings. Okay, so now I've lit that one as well. I'm going to do the same thing as before and pop down the 2 blocks. The couple of stones to stop them burning next to the fire. And on top, I'm just going to place my tin can. That'll cook quite nicely, I think. What I didn't mention on the previous one was when you want to put out the fire of it, what you've got to do is take a nice big slab of wood. It could be a bit of branch that you've cut off or something like that, and then just cover it over for a second. Bosh. You might think that that won't light again, but it absolutely will. All you need is your lighter back, and you're back lit in your little fire. Brilliant. Well, okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've learned something, and you can take something out when you go into survival. All the fires I've done in this video were in a controlled environment and very safe. These as well, fires, because they are wax, they dry solid, so you don't need to put them in any bags. You just can put them in your rucksack for an emergency to keep warm, or in this case, you could use them to cook. I appreciate you watching the video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please do like, do subscribe, drop a comment if you have any other ways of doing self-contained fires, or if you think there's a better way of me doing these fires. So I'm going to appreciate that. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.